Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm just sitting here drinking my morning coffee. Looking sexy while I do it. Alright, I'm going to say something that a lot of people out there don't want to hear. Most of you have no business trying to train 6 days a week. And when I say that, it's because number one, most of you are not competing in bodybuilding and you're not on heavy doses of gear. Okay. Now, that being said, people will point out that there have been guys who only train 3 or 4 days a week who've placed really well at the Mr. Olympia. That's true. That is true. But that's not the point. The fact is, look, guys, most of this data on these really high volumes of training are really not showing that great of benefits. Keep that in mind. Number two, the majority of people can make most of their gains training like 4 days a week, in some cases 3. Everything you're doing beyond that is chasing that last little percent. And I'm going to be honest, the majority of people do not have a lifestyle that facilitates recovery to that sort of training. They're just coming in doing junk volume. And I'm sorry, I know that your favorite influencer has put out, a 6-day-a-week push-pull legs, but it's probably just junk volume, right? It probably is just junk volume for most of you. I have consistently found that most of my lifters, including my advanced lifters, can make phenomenal gains on 10, 12 sets per week per muscle group, sometimes doing a little more for weak links. And I have trained higher volumes. You guys have watched me train 6 or 7 days a week, but I want you to keep in mind, go back and look even at the experiment, because everyone's like, but dude, this is the first time you deadlifted over 600 on camera was when you were training 6-7 days a week. That's true. That is true. But I'm bigger and stronger now. Because go back and look at that footage. Look at that 615 pull even that I had back then, and then look at stuff you guys have seen in recent years. I've deadlifted more. I benched a lot more since that time. So I want people to think about that for a moment. You bring that up, but when I've done 4-day-a-week training, you watched me deadlift 635. Okay. What was I benching during all that training? Like 330? You guys have seen me bench 365 since then, both wide grip and close grip with a pause. Okay. I am bigger. I got bigger and stronger after dropping that type of training. And it was an interesting experiment, but I also had overreaching symptoms eventually. Plus the dedication required for that. And think about that for a moment. People would say, okay, so what did your lifestyle look like? For me to train in the way that I was doing, where I was hitting a training max, a conjugate style max, and then doing about 15 total sets afterwards to train every day. Let's be clear on that. I was eating at least 4,000 calories every day. All right? I was sleeping 10 hours every night. That is what it took for me to do that type of training, and that meant melatonin, Benadryl, whatever I needed to take to get that sleep in. Okay? That is what it took to recover from that sort of training at my strength level, especially in my 40s. So, I would say to people who are wanting to get in and do that much lifting, can your lifestyle facilitate recovery from it? Or are you just doing junk volume? And a lot of people, again, they don't want to hear that. Like, but I need the 20 sets. I need 30 sets. Do you? And again, I would say to people who want to train more than 3 to 4 days a week, and it's fine if you're doing cardio, but you want to do cardio every day, some good conditioning work, especially some low intensity cardio is good for you. That's not training though. Okay? Training, I'm talking about getting under a barbell, getting into the weight room. I've messed with all these modalities. I've done Bulgarian training. I've done the higher volume, high frequency training like this also. I've messed with all these things, and I've observed it as a coach. I can tell you right now the injury rates go up. Everyone's worried about heavy lifting. You need to be worried about 30 sets a week. Who gets hurt the most? the ultra high volume people. What does the study show? The largest contributor to weight room injuries is overuse. It's overuse. Let's set aside a couple pro bodybuilders. I don't think we need to go into the reasons why Dorian Yates or Ronnie Coleman got injured. Okay. That is not what most of you are doing. Your lifestyle and gear use and everything else doesn't look like theirs. For most of you, overuse is what's going to cause it. Okay? Overuse. It's where we get hurt. When you start training with these sort of volumes, because again, I've messed with the high volume stuff again just to see how it felt for all of it for a while based upon all the research. And it feels like lazy training to me. For me personally, but the thing is, really, that is the factor that no one is talking about with this. People are chasing a hypothetical small amount of extra growth, and they may get it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to discount all that research and say that people might not, if they can recover from it, might not get a little bit of benefit from it. Okay, but all the people who I see who get really hurt, how many of them promote these ultra high volume, high frequency training? Start looking at the injury rates. Because even where'd I get my first shoulder impingement? Doing daily training. Let's do pull-ups every day. You guys remember that? Or was it chin-ups? I was doing like 100 chin-ups every day. Notice you don't see me complaining about my shoulders hurting right now. And I do weighted chin-ups. I do plenty of heavy benching. My shoulders don't hurt. Where are the injuries happening? Look at some of the influencers you see, and I don't want to name names. I'm not trying to start fights. How many of the people who you see who have the most numerous injuries, long-timers in this industry, are training 5 or 6 days a week? Okay. And look at that correlation with injuries. That's what the data tells us. The data tells us most weight room injuries are from overuse. So how much does that set you back? Is that worth that extra 1% you think you're getting? And that's kind of my point. Most people out there, the majority of you, probably be training 4 days a week, probably no more than about 15 sets of muscle group. Okay? A lot of you get away with a lot less and still see fantastic progress year after year after year. This whole idea of training 6 days a week, for the majority of people, I'm sorry, your lifestyle is not going to facilitate it. You're not going to have the recovery to benefit from it. And quite frankly, you're going to end up just hurt. Right? This is my experience. And I think the data supports that. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.